My name's Bill and I'm an alcoholic, and this show is called The Scariest People in AA. I've always had a yearning for dangerous sports, and there's a thing called the Dangerous Sports Club. But the problem is I'm not actually very brave. I like to think I am, but I'm not. I've done parachuting, I've climbed mountains, I've mixed with the best and the worst in society, and I've done some rather stupid things in my time. Many times I know I was lucky to escape alive. I've been too close to death on too many occasions. Sobriety was almost a relief in the end, to know that whatever I did sober was in some way going to be organised and thought through, and not fuelled by alcohol. Alcohol took away my fears and gave me courage. It took away my sensible head and replaced it with a deranged one. I woke up petrified many mornings, sweating and worried sick, wondering what I had done the night before. Some of the things I did when drinking, I still worry about today, 40 years later. Lest I ever pick up another drink, I know I could very well go straight back to those dangerous, dark days and the things I did. But I was young and I was immature at the time. I was stupid and I was mixing with the bad people in society. But I was also an alcoholic. And put all these things together, and it's a recipe for disaster, a long prison sentence or almost certain death. I was obviously lucky not to die, or I was in some way being looked after, and I like to think it was the latter. Coming into recovery, walking through the door at that first meeting has to be up there with some of the scariest things I've ever done in my life. Probably because this time I was sober. I had no anaesthetic to take away the fear or to make things a little easier, or at least to make it a little bit more palatable. But what I do remember was this. Standing outside that meeting was certainly a do or die moment for me, and unfortunately I chose to walk through that door because I knew in my heart of hearts that if I'd have walked away that evening, the only one thing that was left to me was almost certain death by alcoholism. Once in the rooms, I was confronted by the second most scariest thing in my life. Again, being sober didn't help. And what I was confronted with was called the truth. It was called listening to the reality of where my life had ended up. And it was dished out by the scariest people I have ever met in my life. And they were called old-timers. God, I hated them. But I also admired their strength and determination in confronting me with what no one else had ever dared to do before. And a quarter of a century later, after walking through that first door of a meeting of AA, I now look back, and these people who actually went on to save my life are not the scariest people in the world. They were the people I was lucky to meet. But talk about scary people. Try walking into the rooms of AA and tell everybody that you know best. It doesn't work. Because the good old timers will see right through you. And if you're lucky, they'll go easy on you. Tough love and respect were what saved my life in recovery. I didn't like it at the time. In fact, I hated it. I do today. Only the strong-willed survive in AA. And surviving those scary old-timers may not be a badge of honour, but it did give me something infinitely more than that. It gave me a life beyond my wildest dreams. Thanks to the courage and the humility and the love of the scariest people I've ever met in my life. Thank you to all you old timers. Bill the Shirt, Bristol.